Alright, so number 14, it says you have $75 to spend at the state fair. Admission is $12, and the ride coupons are $3.25 each. What I want you thinking is this $3.25 each almost feels like $3.25 per coupon. And in math, when we see this per coupon, okay, it is a form of multiplication. It's almost like looking at like 3.25x or C for coupon. This 12 admission fee is a one-time fee, and it doesn't have a correlation of per. Okay? So with that in mind, it's asking what is the maximum number of coupons that you would be able to purchase. So what is the maximum number already tells us it's going to be inequality of some sort. It's going to be less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. Reading the problem, we also get this sense of algebra 1 slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, otherwise what you see later on, b plus mx, but in more difficult like calculus forms. Anyway, b, we've learned, is the y-intercept, otherwise the initial value. Otherwise, where do you start? Okay, so in this problem, what is that y-intercept? What number do y'all see that would stand for that y-intercept? 12. So $12 is the one-time fee. So the one-time fee can also be that b. So we have $12, and it's going to be adding with this mx. Now, and we know it's slope, but at the same time, believe it or not, this is a slope. This isn't a rise over run. This isn't a ramp. This is the conceptual understanding of slope is a quantity per a certain other quantity. Okay? So looking at this, what would m be? 3.25. Now looking at this question, it wants to know the number of the number of rides. So this could be x, and then this could be f of x. Do you all agree? Okay, so with this in mind, the only thing that I have to change, conceptual understanding, is something to deal with this. Okay, we want to know what's the maximum number of coupons that can be purchased when how much is spent? 75. Okay, so what's the maximum number of these things that you can buy without going over 75? So it'll look something like this. Yes or no? Other way around. Nicely done. So this one's going to say, I can't exceed 75, so I'm going to say less than 75, or I'm going to bound it to be equal to 75. Nicely done. Okay, so now we're just going to solve for x, and we're done. So subtracting 12, what do we have? 63. And this is a decimal. So chances are this is probably going to be a calculator, or since this instructions had non-calculator on this, how would you do this by hand? There's two ways that I'll show you. Watch and look very carefully. This is without a calculator. Which by the way is the section that most people struggle with, okay, to improve and whatnot. So it'll be 63 divided by 3.25. And I think it was maybe 3rd or 4th grade you learned how to do this. You would need to move this decimal over 2 to the right. So this understood decimal right here would actually create 2 more zeros, and the new decimal would be here. So it's 6,300, pretty much is what you have, is going to be divided by 325. Do you agree? Alright, so 325 is what this really changes to, and this changes to 6,300. And this is how you would do it by hand. Okay? And then you would get your answer. First of all, what did y'all get as an answer on this? 19? And it was like 19 point stuff, right? Okay? So x is going to be less than or equal to 19 point stuff. So what's the maximum number of coupons that you can buy? 19. Because it's saying the maximum number. So if this was 19.3 or 19.8, whatever, you didn't get to that 20, so the highest integer value that you did already pass was 19, so that would be the answer here. Now, Some of you might struggle with this. Another way that this is a new form that I would hope that you would adopt. These are these weird adoption forms that I'm hoping that you add to your math skills and strengthen yourself, especially when it comes to doing stuff by hand. If I have 63 divided by 3.25, how do I write 3.25 as a fraction? 3 1/4. And what are we taught when we see mixed fractions to change them to what? Improper. So we have 13 over 4. And guys, when you divide by a fraction, that's the same as multiplying by what? The reciprocal. So pretty much you have 63 times 4 over 13. And if you did this by hand, I feel like you could do it better and faster with less error than if you were doing that decimal moving stuff. Okay? So you would have 63 and 13. 63 and 13, real quick. Can these simplify or reduce? No. So let's go ahead and do 63 times 4, 12, 1, 2, 5. So you have 252 divided by 13. This is a lot easier to contend with than the other thing that we were looking at. Okay? So and the answer is still going to get you to that 19. Any questions? Okay, nicely done.